Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I like to cake and welcome to my very first video tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to make a COVID-19 survival cake, which is a cake in the shape of a roll of toilet paper and a cake in the shape of a bar of soap. And it's pretty small because ingredients are scarce right now. So I hope you enjoy. To start, we're going to cut out 3 circles of cake about the size of a roll of toilet paper, and then cut a smaller hole out of each of those circles. Now grab your cake board and pipe a little bit of frosting in the center and spread that around. And what this does is it helps the cake stick to the cake board so it doesn't slide around when you're working on it and doesn't slide around when you're done with it. Now it's time to assemble. So take one of our cake circles and place it on our little frosting base there, and then pipe whatever filling you want. I have a chocolate cream cheese frosting here on top of that cake circle, and then we're just going to layer up until we have all 3 cake circles. Now for the toilet paper tube part, take either some chocolate frosting or just brown colored frosting works and coat the inside of your cake. Now we're going to do what's called a crumb coat. It's basically a really thin layer of frosting that you put on your cake to seal in all of those crumbs so that later you can frost on top of it and get a really beautiful smooth finish to your frosted cake. So now I'm just smoothing out the frosting a little bit on the crumb coat and taking off any excess frosting so that it's a really thin layer. Then we're going to put the cake either in the fridge or the freezer for a few minutes, just enough that the outside gets cold. And what this does is it really helps the next layer of frosting stick to the crumb coat. Otherwise, what can happen is your crumb coat comes off and then you get crumbs in your frosting anyway, and it's super frustrating, trust me. While the toilet paper cake is in the fridge or the freezer, we're going to carve a bar of soap. I have 2 little rectangles here, and I'm basically just going to kind of round out the corners, and smooth out the top, level it off, and make it look kind of like 2 halves of a bar of soap. Okay, now that the cake has been carved to look like 2 halves of our soap bar, flip 1 half over and pipe on whatever your filling is. I'm using the same chocolate cream cheese frosting. And then just sandwich the 2 halves together. Now we're going to do the same thing we did with the toilet paper part. We're going to do a very thin crumb coat and then put it in the fridge or the freezer for a few minutes to firm up. In the meantime, we can pull our toilet paper cake back out and put that final smooth layer of frosting over top. Now we're going to repeat this process on the soap cake. Okay, so it's time to assemble. Let's pull both cakes out and place the soap bar on the toilet paper cake, however you like. I didn't really have a plan here, as you can see, but I adjusted and made it work. In hindsight, I probably would offset the toilet paper before putting the soap bar on or use a bigger cake board, but it still worked out. Now we're going to do some final touches on our soap bar. We're going to carve the word soap into it, and I used a sharp, thin knife here, but you could also just use a toothpick. Okay, time for the last step. That's the soap bubbles. I just took some of the blue frosting and some of the white and alternated placing it into the piping bag. And then either snip off the end or you can use a small round piping tip and pipe on some balls that are going to be our bubbles. And there you have it. This is your COVID-19 survival cake. Hope everyone stays safe out there. Thank you all so much for watching my very first video. I really hope you liked it, and I will be putting out a new video next week.